Todd, how's that new hard drive treating you?
It's going good.
Multiple hard drives, that is.
I like the green and the green. You guys are like light and dark.
Oh, shit.
Not St. Patty's Day?
Shit, I shouldn't have worn the green.
The 12 terabyte drive is awesome. I had to do some open heart surgery on all the guides, but I got all the guides on that drive.
Oh, my God.
And,
that's a nightmare.
But in the midst of it, I did find all kinds of other gems.
Like what?
I found my rap music videos.
Intel?
From college.
This is pre-Intel.
Probably like 3 or 4 videos.
Can we play some of them?
Probably not.
Can we do it like right now?
Cat's already out of the bag, though.
No,
Everyone knows about.
we can't do it right now.
Why?
We can't premiere them?
I don't know. Maybe I'll give you some screenshots.
Maybe at the end of the show.
Maybe.
We'll see.
All right. You ready to get started?
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. You got some green in your throat?
It could be the kale from lunch.
No.
No, it wasn't kale. It was seaweed salad. Poke bowl. Mm-hmm. You guys enjoy your poke bowl?
Poke bowl.
Poke bowl. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, really good.
Todd, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was
Dan?
good.
Chipotle bowl with fish.
Basically. Mm-hmm. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to RAWtalk episode number 204. As we work our way to 209. This week is a different type of show because we are filming it right after last week's show because I am going on a boat.
I'm on a boat, bitch. I'm on a boat.
I'm going on a boat. It's a marketing type cruise, higher end one. It's the only reason I'm going. My buddy Steve Weatherford invited me. He's like, you should come out to this. Gary V's going to be there. Perry Farrell's going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Are you going to get his autograph?
John Scully's going to be there. John Scully. You know who John Scully is?
What about
He
Mulder?
was the Apple
Is
guy,
Mulder
right?
He was
gonna
the
be there?
CEO that fired Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was that?
Oh. I just started watching Steve Jobs.
So there's
Which
a
one? There's like 3 movies.
the one from the guy from West
Fassbender?
Wing. Sorkin. Sorkin's one.
And
Okay,
Fassbender.
Yeah.
He's the Steve Jobs.
that
guy.
was a theatrical release.
It's
yeah,
a
that one was
talkie.
good.
It's a
Yeah.
talkie, but it's good.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I like them all.
So I'm doing that thing, so that's why we're filming this. But luckily for you, we have an interview
Yes.
that we filmed a little while ago when Mr. Gary Fong was in town.
Fong.
No, Fong, not Thong. Cisco.
Yeah, Cisco.
Oh. Let me see that Fong.
He had jumps like a truck. Thighs like what? What?
Feelings like
But. Let me see that thong.
I just remember kicking up sand on the beach and everything.
He's just so little, he just would walk through between their legs.
Yeah.
Cisco. So Gary Fong was in town, and we set it up so that he could come in and talk about, well, he wanted to talk about his new movie that he's the director of, that he uses Sony for. Obviously, we know that. I was more interested in, I'm interested in that. I'm interested
His
in
backstory.
business. I
Yeah.
love hearing about it and learning that he was shooting since 1983 or
It's pretty
something.
incredible, yeah.
Wow.
And then he retired from that, and then he went to Paris, and that's where he got the idea for the Fong Dome and all this different stuff. Getting the stories is pretty cool, and I'm leading into that because we have an interview. So I should just shut the hell up.
Please.
Enjoy this interview with Gary Fong. Pull up pop some popcorn, do whatever you're gonna do, get
Watch
some
it.
ice cream, sit back and recline, and enjoy this interview with Gary Fong. Gary, what brings you to Philly?
I am here for the mortuary convention.
Is there some kind of light sphere for the mortuary people?
That's a great idea, actually. It has to be warmer in tone because dead people are, of course, very white, right?
That's true. Yeah. No, why are you there?
Well, we're filming some coverage for my new film, and part of the story is that one of the stars is a mortician. So one of the scenes occurs at a mortician convention, and so we couldn't really stage that. And the funny thing that my line producer found out when he did the research for it was that these mortuary conventions, everybody wears a suit and a tie.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, right? I didn't know what they would look like. I thought it would be like a bunch of, creepy looking kind of people.
No.
But,
Are they
they're all-
showing off the latest in caskets and hearses and?
Oh, there's a whole big technology around it. I mean, this guy I met today at my hotel, he was a cremation technologies guy. And I said, how's business? He goes, oh, people are dying to be our customers.
Like he hasn't used that one before, right?
Ba-dum-ts. And then what else? He said, he gives seminars called cremation, all your burning questions answered.
It's tough. I mean, when you're dealing with death all the time, it just basically get numb from it, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So are you? So what are you filming?
Well, we're filming coverage, and so that's kind of a tricky thing because we're basically getting the backs of people's heads as they're walking into the convention center. Those are going to be our establishing scenes. And then we're going through the booths and asking people if they want to just do a real quick pitch, because that might be a montage as my two stars are going down the aisle.
So does anybody actually know you're doing this for a movie?
No.
And
No.
so what are the legalities to that?
Legalities, yeah, the legalities are, as long as it's not identifiable, then you're okay with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the backs of people's heads as they're entering, so we get no faces. If they are visible, we're going to bokeh them out so that they're blurry. And then the actual banners and signs, we can change in After Effects. So that it wouldn't be recognizable. There's a whole. I'm learning so much. I got to tell you, it's incredible.
So this is a movie that you wrote?
I co-wrote it with Greg Sestero, and he actually one day he just kind of. I think he woke up from a dream or whatever. And he says, "Hey, I want to bounce a story off you." He had the characters formed. He had the plot line. He had some of the lines of dialogue, and I said, "Let me sit down with it." And I mean, his people just came to life. And so I think within 3 weeks we had a 100-page script, and It was done. Yeah.
And so you're shooting it all with your Sonys?
Yeah, we shot the trailer, all with Sonys, and many reasons why that was. One was the shrinking of the equipment. We've got like this, this is a 1.4 G master lens, right? Well, a 1.4, I mean, what you're getting with like a lot of the DPs are using these old Cine Alta lenses, and they're like f4. How many stops is that? 5? 1.4, 2.8, 4,
1.8, and then 2. Well, yeah, all those the main
2.8,
ones.
4, 5,
yeah,
6.
It's a lot of them.
Yeah, so it's but it's double or triple the amount of light, right? So we're able to shoot an extremely low light situation. Have you seen the trailer that we did?
I saw that you posted about it.
Oh, okay.
And that Rolling Stone did some writing about it.
Yeah, we were pretty thrilled by that. Hollywood Reporter picked that up, and then Entertainment Weekly, Rolling Stone. I mean, it went everywhere. So,
nice.
Yeah. But there's a scene in the trailer where Tommy Wiseau is on the. He looks like he's dead, and we did all the makeup on him. And but it was so dark you couldn't even see that we were on the beach. And I'm looking out there and I'm going, wow, we're kind of hosed, because I knew that there was surf crashing. It would have been a beautiful shot with surf crashing on them, but you couldn't see it. So we had the A7S II, and we just kept ratcheting it up. I think we wound up at ISO 12,000 or something like that.
Right.
So we were able to see the waves, but the lighting on him wasn't good. So we put an iPhone on him, but it was too much. It was just like a helicopter. So we took the iPhone, put it into a white reflector, and then it was just enough. But I mean, we're talking like 8 photons hit him during the filming,
Yeah.
So that's what's fun is the image quality we're getting out of these is incredible. I mean, they're full frame. The new G Master lenses are extremely fast, So when you're shooting at 1.4, you get this we have the 85 1.4. We're shooting a lot. You get this gorgeous bokeh. But also one thing that I found with these 6300s, and this is the cage that we use, I dismantled it, is that the subject tracking is really crazy. I mean, it's really on the character. And so if I have a part where I have 2 people, but one is spotlighted, I can do the face recognition, and then I'll put the key in that scene as the number 1 position. So like if 2 of you are just kind of like moving around and one kind of goes in and out, it will track at full on 1.4, and you get a look that's completely a different level of cinematic. I mean, it's beautiful because the subject's in focus, but it just looks gorgeous. So
Right.
we're very happy with that.
So let's take this back all the way to the beginning. I was doing some research trying to find out more about you, which is what I try to do. Let's take it back. Where did the love for creating and photography come about?
Well, the photography didn't really come out of love for photography. It really came out of just wanting to find a way to make a living. I was a musician, and I knew that I wasn't good enough to ever make a living at it, right?
Right.
As most people. So, it was, I met Rocky Gunn, who was in the old days, there was only one guru. There wasn't like 3 or 4, and now there's probably 20 or none, because there's hundreds. But there was a little while where there was Monty Zucker and, that little gang of gurus. But during that time, there was only one, and it was Rocky. And my mom knew him from when she used to work in a restaurant. He used to sing. It was just a weird thing. So she said, you got to meet this guy. And I met him, and then 14 years later, I saw him featured in Life magazine. And I thought, this is the first famous person I ever knew. It's like my mom's friend is in Life magazine. And I thought, holy smokes, he's a wedding photographer and he's in Life magazine. But there was a line on it that said he made $1 million a year. As a wedding photographer, right? Well, what it didn't say is he had 19 staff photographers and, like a whole operation. But that was enough for me to say, look, if I go into wedding photography, then I only work on Saturdays, right? That's what the outside person thinks. They don't know about the editing and the customers and the booking appointments and all that. But that was the belief that I went into. And so I went into that, and then I became a wedding photographer. And that was it for 20 years.
So you were mostly... So I remember seeing, and I think it was you, and it was high-end LA style weddings. Mm-hmm. And it had something with a helicopter and doing group shots out of a helicopter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I don't know how many years, probably before FroKnows was even a thing. And I just remember that was your thing. Like, let's get in the helicopter and do a group shot. Where did, just because you could do it?
Well, you're referring to an Ed Pierce video where he went out and filmed me. And we were at this location that has this bluff. And it's just gorgeous from the ocean. Of course, now we'd use a $1,200 drone, right? Yeah. But back then, I used to always get a group shot of everybody. And, whether it was outside the reception hall, we always wanted to do it. So I bought a 903 SWC Hasselblad. And that was we would do a centerfold with it. But that one, we could do a helicopter. And my clients were paying very, very good fees, so it was no big deal. I'd have a second shooter cover the cocktail hour, and then I would drive to the Torrance Airport, maybe 5 minutes away, go up in the air, and then we'd radio down and
get the group shot.
Yeah. Anything that made us different or better.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was that had to differentiate you from everybody else. What are some of the other things that you did that separated you from the other people trying to charge a lot of money?
Well, one of the first things that I noticed was every photographer had a package of 28 by 10s. And I thought that was ridiculous. I mean, you go down the list of shots, it's like bride and groom, bride alone, groom alone, that's 3, wedding party, you know what I mean? You can go through 20 and not even get to a single shot. You're going to miss a lot. So I thought that was misleading to say, I'll shoot your wedding and put 20 in a book. I knew that, and so what I did was called storybook weddings, where I basically would lay out from the proofs a design. So there'd be action, reaction sequences. I might start with an establishing scene, go into details and things like that, but I would do the design. And, probably 4 times out of 5, the couples would just say, I want to make just a few changes, but I want to keep the book basically intact.
That's a good piece of advice for everybody at home about building a wedding album, because a lot of people will shoot, God forbid, 2,000 photos for a wedding and then hand the photos to the client and say, which ones do you want in the book?
Right.
It's your job as a professional to put together, and I learned this when I did weddings, I would make the first pass.
Right.
And you make the first pass, and then all you generally need to change are maybe 4 pictures or 5 because you didn't know who the important people were dancing in that large montage that you put together.
Exactly.
So that was, yeah.
Yeah, and it made people excited because they could see the end thing, and that's the important thing, is pre-visualizing what it's going to be. And so we were called Storybook Weddings, and, I was known for that. I mean, I couldn't get a lot of bookings in the beginning because nobody knew who I was, so I charged $150 to shoot the wedding, but you didn't get anything. And then from that, you'd buy a 5x5 and it was $6, 5x7 was $8 or something like that. And so that sounds pretty modest until you actually do a layout. And then you realize, you've got the bridesmaids in an 8x10 and then 4 5x5s of each of the bridesmaids. And then it makes a spread. And, you go through and then you're into a book with 40 inserts or something like that. So quickly, I became very financially successful because of that.
So it was just the 150 got you in the door,
Right?
And at the time, people were still willing to pay for prints.
Of course. So this was, I mean, I did it for 20 years and I've been retired for 14. So this was 34 years ago, right?
34 years?
Yeah.
I'm 35.
I know. I shot my first wedding in 1983.
Wow.
So were you born
I was
in 84? You were, okay, 81. Right.
Born in 81.
Yeah, but that's when I shot my first wedding.
So you were heyday of weddings.
You
was the like prime time. So when you're putting together the book, did you physically sit there and do all the taping? You get that tape gun thing on the back that did the double side stick.
No, I didn't do the production.
All right.
Yeah, but I did. I insisted on doing the design, and I always did it as soon as I could. When we went into digital, I would do it literally this Sunday because it's fresh in my mind, And little things that I would do, like I'd take a little notepad with me, like a reporter, and on one book, I actually shot. The opening shot was a doorknob. And it had a crystal goblet, kind of a thing. And the bride looked at it and she just loved it. Now, this makes no sense to you or I, like, why is there a doorknob as the opening page? But when I was in the bride's dressing room, they said, wow, you did such a beautiful job redoing your grandmother's house. They said, yeah, but we left the doorknob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The little things.
The little things. And so I would always write down, whatever, just little notes that were fresh in my mind. If I shot a wedding between that, then I'd forget all the details. And that's why people would just kind of lose the enthusiasm because it was kind of phoned in. Do you know what I mean? Where my stuff was never phoned in. It was like I wanted to kill it on every album. So
now, going back to what you said about you went to where you could make money, photography, did you consider yourself more to be a business person that takes pictures or a photographer who just became a good business person?
I was definitely not a photographer, so I wouldn't say that. I mean, like a lot of times I'm at the Sony presentations and I've got all these artisans with me.
Do you know who's not at the Sony presentations?
No. Of course
Me.
No, it's
Me.
not.
I'm not at the Sony presentations because somewhere my invitation got lost in the mail 5 times.
There's no reason for that. My friends at Sony, Jared is a fan of all good technology, which would make you a fan of mirrorless.
Just like my TV over there that says,
well, of course,
Samsung on it.
Right. And I'm sure you saw Spider-Man. That was a Sony Columbia.
I must have bought a ticket for that one.
There you go.
The original.
Right. So you are a Sony.
So we had the Wega TVs forever. Oh, and I still have a Sony Betamax.
Right.
I still have a Sony Betamax,
right?
Tape player that my camera store back home, the one I used to go to, he uses to transfer tapes to DVD.
Right.
Because those things were built like brick shit houses.
Oh, they were awesome. Yeah.
You could kill somebody with one.
Yeah, they were awesome. Much better in VHS. It took the standard. Yeah. So, and that's another thing that's kind of interesting about Sony is that they tried so many attempts to force you into their form factors, like memory stick or what was that thing, mini disc?
Mini disc. I have a mini disc player.
Yeah,
I have a mini disc player.
Right,
and portable mini disc player.
Right, and they would try to force their formats, and that I guess of course it doesn't work. It never works except for maybe Mac. But once they kind of figured that out, then they started to then think, I'm only guessing. They didn't tell me this, but let's make industry standards just by the fact that they're better. So they're very heavy into 4K. They're very heavy into mirrorless. So is mirrorless becoming a de facto standard? No, but it is technologically. There's many good reasons to go mirrorless.
Yeah.
So
you were saying you're around all these artisans, getting back to the business side of it.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, when I speak at the Sony booth, I'll go right after, Brian Smith or Robert Evans, and I look at their photos and I think, what planet did you guys come from? They live for still photography. And then for me, I've got pictures of my kids, because I just don't, that doesn't do enough for me creatively, stills. And also, those guys are brilliant because they do original work. But what I've seen in still photography is everybody copies somebody else's shot. And that's the thing that just drives me crazy. I just don't want to be part of that energy. Do you remember that shot Dennis Reggie did of Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette coming out of the chapel?
Yeah.
And, dude, for years, I would come in early, a wedding was coming out, and the photographer would stop them and say, kiss like Kennedy, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, that shot worked because it was completely spontaneous. You guys are, fixing this.
But that's weddings. I mean, you look at Pinterest boards. I'm sure if somebody was to go do a wedding today, the bride is going to share with you a Pinterest board of photos that she likes and wants you to replicate.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times with weddings, it was a great moneymaker. So you kind of like, when it came to cropping, I don't crop my images, but when it came to laying out an album, you're like, fuck it.
Right.
It's their album. It's not like it's my work. It's my work, but it's for them. So I just want it to look good for them.
Right.
And you'd kind of do what you need to do to get paid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So to answer your question, I never by passion was photographer. I wound up being a very good one because I would listen to what customers liked, and then I kind of did more of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So moving on to what you're known for a lot of times. Oh God, I don't know how to do it delicately. I was just going to try to come up with some kind of joke, but I can't.
Hurt my feelings.
I just want to say, were you eating like soup one day and you're like, this would be amazing on a flash. Why don't I cut a hole in it and put it up top?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So here's the real story. And I'm going to go into the story that nobody knows, but now everyone's going to know it because you have 600,000 followers. I ran Pictage. Do you remember Pictage?
I think Stephen and I had a discussion about this. I honestly don't recall much about Pictage.
Okay. Well, Pictage was the first of its kind, the bridge lab between negatives and digital. And we became the largest digital pro lab in the country. We went from, a concept to 170 employees, and then we sold it for $35 million.
I have here says 29 million.
Yeah,
your Wikipedia page needs to change.
It was 35, but there was some other things that were in there. But having that happen, I was seeing everybody's bridge to digital shots completely blown out. And remember the old Kodak DCS 520s and all those? They had no dynamic range, and not only that, but the metering on negative film didn't have to be so accurate because you had that exposure latitude, right? So we're getting all this shit that's just completely blown out, these forehead areas that are 255 in all channels. It was just like, holy crap. And flash was the culprit. So, and that was because the shape of flash is a parabolic reflector. Well, what does a parabolic reflector do? It looks like a car headlight or a flashlight. So that was the first problem, is that we can't go to digital and have on-camera flash. Not at the same time. It's just not going to work. So then everyone's bouncing, and the bounce looks like shit because you know what bounce looks like. But by that time, I had already hired my replacement at Pictage, and I had retired. I think I was 42, and I moved to the south of France. And when I was there looking for an apartment, I was in a hotel, and there was a lampshade, and I was just like staring at it, and I was like going, wow, this is beautiful light in this room. And then it dawned on me, it's like what makes it beautiful is that light's going up to the ceiling, but also hitting the fabric around. And that's how they're getting beautiful light. Well, we're getting cameras back then that were shooting clean at ISO 800, which is unheard of in the old days. I used to shoot Kodak Portra, you know what I mean? So I was like going, dude, we've gained a stop or two from the old days. We don't need that much power.
So you don't need the direct as much.
You don't need the direct as much. So here's the story. I wanted one for myself. Okay. So I called it the plastic something. He said it's, $12,000. I'm like, wow, $12,000 for a single diffuser. That's a lot of money. But if I made like 300 of them and sold them for $40 each, then I get my money back. So I went down and sat with a designer, and he came up with the first drawing, and it was hilarious because it was the CAD file, and it had a cylinder, and then it had a dome on the top, right? Well, it looked like a freaking penis. So I just thought, look, I didn't think that anything was going to come of it.
Is that why you have diaphragms that go inside of it too? Because I've seen the diaphragms.
No, have you really seen the new one? Because it's, okay, well, we've got something coming out, and okay, you can call it the Fong diaphragm because it's coming out soon. But anyway, so I said, on this drawing, could you put a little hole in the dome and make it more flesh colored? And then he said, okay.
That's a fleshlight.
Yeah, and oh God. And then he said, what else would you like me to do? And I said, can you have like a big vein running down the bottom of it?
Did you really do that?
Well, I asked him, right? And he said, we're a Christian-based, so we don't do that kind of stuff. And I said, no, I'm absolutely just kidding. So do it the way it is. that story never got out, but for some reason the name propagated, Fong Dome, which, I never shared that story. But so that's how the idea came out. And then I spoke at Photo Plus right after that and showed it, and we sold all of them. I mean, and then it just kept going, and this is 10 years ago. So having come up with an idea, you then went and facilitate designing it, developing it, producing it. Then how do you turn it into a viable, growing, and thriving business? Well, that's got to be word of mouth. You can do all the brand recognition and all that other stuff, but if the product doesn't work, then it's just not going to have legs and carry into a decade of this product. So the product has to be a good one. And I don't advertise. You don't see ads of my stuff. I don't advertise anywhere, because one of the books that I read when I went into business was called Marketing Without Advertising, and it was by Nolo Press. It's the only business book I've ever read. The advice on it was insane, because it said one line that will always stay with me is that if you can get a customer to come back or use your service twice, the likelihood that they'll do it the third time goes up to 800%. So when I was shooting weddings, my idea was not just to please this bride, but to get her to bring in one of her friends, because then, you only have 52 weekends, right? And if each of those refers 4 friends, then you've got a crazy, uphill pyramid, which is fantastic. So the product's got to be incredible. That's really what I care about. I focus on that.
So you've been able to continually evolve what you've built. How'd you deal with knockoffs? Are there knockoffs coming out of China and all that?
There were, you probably look and see that we've calmed that down quite a bit, because it was getting out of hand. We were at Photokina, and I'm walking around seeing my products in every booth, right?
Yeah.
And then, so do they still have where it says no copy? Do they have the banners? I went 2 years ago, but I didn't go this year. But there'd be a big banner. It says no copy, KOPIE in German. But there'd be a kiosk, no copy, whatever. And so I went up and I said, what's no copy? And they said, oh, this is for knockoffs. I said, what does that mean? And they said, if you see that your product is being infringed, we will get you an attorney. They have a booth at Photokina. So I said, well, what the hell? I've got a shitload of them. And so she said, okay, pick up the phone. It was Sunday. And boom, there's an attorney, right? He's got a sheath of just like releases. He goes, show me each booth. And it was incredible. I would just show him booth, and he would demand that they hand over all the product and sign the form, then never do it again. And the motivation was really great, because he's been in there where he would then tape off. It was really fun to watch, actually. He did that with me one time. His name's Oliver. He would tape off a booth, and then they would just literally, the border guards would come in with uniforms and dump all of my stuff in the thing. But the thing that really kills those people is that their name now gets on the quarantine list at the border. So if your company imports a counterfeit my thing, and we alert the European authorities, if you ship anything in and out of EU, they'll put it in quarantine for 60 days.
Which isn't good.
That's going to put you out of business, right? Yeah. So that was very, very, I mean, it was like 2 years later, I went to Photokina, and you couldn't see anything that was mine. So.
That's crazy stuff. So the business stuff. Now, with Pictage, did you start that, or did you come in?
I came in because Jason Kiefer started it, and what they were doing was they were taking proofs from photographers, putting them in a flatbed scanner, and like scanning them and putting them on the internet.
Geez.
I'm going, dude, I'm like, you're 20 seconds per shot, right? How are you going to make any money? They said, well, we're going to make 10% commission off print sales. And I was just like, holy shit. Anyway, it wasn't one of the best decisions I ever made, but I bought a Fuji Frontier. Remember those?
Yeah. And Steven used to work on a Noritsu. I used to work at a Ritz camera, so Ritz and Fuji were in bed together, so they had all Frontier machines.
Right. Yeah, I had one of the first ones. It was $240,000. But as a wedding photographer, it actually would pay for itself in my lab bill, right? Because my lab bill is probably $100,000 a year or something like that. So what they didn't tell me is that you have to run 108 by 10s per day through it, or else you'll cook the chemistry, oxidize the chemistry, or you'd have to put in some kind of refresher. Replenisher, right, which cost a lot. And then they didn't tell me that it was 220 only. Well, the building I was in, it was going to cost like $18,000 to up convert us to 220. So now I have this big thing in the truck, and I have nowhere to put it. Well, I was a spokesperson for Pictage, and I mean, it was the realization that they would never make money at the same time that I had a Frontier with no home. So I called Jason and I said, you guys, if you want to make any money, tie that into your own lab. And he goes, well, I don't know anybody who owns a lab. I go, funny you should ask. I do. So we moved my Frontier into the kitchen. There was only, I think, 5 employees at the time. We moved it in the kitchen, and we started printing, and it, and then it just multiplied. I think we wound up with 8 machines. We switched over to Codex eventually, but it turned into a huge business.
So is there any reason why, because I didn't see you at Photokina or Photo Plus this year, is there a reason you don't get booths at these events?
Yeah, well, I mean, we stopped doing booths a number of years ago because the return we saw was just not there compared to my YouTube channel. We put out a YouTube to demonstrate what our new product is, and overnight, you'd have thousands of views, right? We clearly don't have as many subscribers as you do. We have about 105,000 or something like that. And, when you look at the stats, it's 1 million point whatever minutes of viewing. Well, if I bought an ad in Popular Photography with a circulation of 180,000, whatever, right? How many minutes of viewing? You pass your $40,000.
It's just a print anyway.
It's just a print, right? It does no talking. Whereas like on YouTube, this is an interested audience that they're not passive. They're looking for information. So, and you get that free. You just need to have some good production quality and a little bit of skill with the mic, not too many ums and ahs. But if you can do that, you've got yourself a really good retail showroom.
It's a platform.
It's a platform.
I constantly tell people, YouTube is free.
Right.
You don't have to pay to be on there. It's advertising for you. Every time I make a video, it's another piece of branded content for me.
Exactly.
And so we were talking before we started filming about how Photo Plus was smaller this year, and it continues to get smaller. Mm-hmm. And I personally attribute it getting smaller in some form or fashion to people like me and to people like you who go out there and make content on the internet, who take away that, like in 1952, going to Photokina, you went because how else were you going to see this stuff?
Right.
In the 80s and 90s, you went because how else were you going to see this stuff? And you had camera stores you could go to.
Right.
Today in 2016, there's nothing new announced because everything that's new, it's leaked before.
Right.
It's announced before. All the information's out there before.
Right.
And you don't need to go to these shows.
Right.
They're dying.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason to go. And the expense for the exhibitors is just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like a good-sized booth at Photokina will run you $100,000-$200,000.
And then you have to pay for carpet.
Yeah,
and then you have
vacuuming of the carpet.
Right. They charge you stuff like that.
Courtesy of Friedman or whoever the union is.
And that's the other discussion. People think, it's great to have a booth. You're going to see 25,000 people attended Photo Plus. How many of those people stopped and engaged with your product? How many employees did you have to pay to then have hotel rooms for and then get them there on transportation on top of the booths? You have to feed everybody. It's like you're dropping 50, 100 tons of money.
Right.
And you are not getting as much value. If you spent $100,000 for a booth, you could hire 3 people, young people out of school, and say, you're making content and you're getting this stuff on the internet.
Right.
And get more eyes that way.
Sure, absolutely. Right.
So what's this? You were showing me this product beforehand that you just came out with? Or you're coming out with?
Right. Well, so I got my cage on here. So Sony's A6000, did you know that it has now become the #1 interchangeable lens camera in history?
No.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I
have one.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. I didn't tell you that I sent it.
No,
it was a little thank you for your wise wisdom in the ways of the internet. So
so one day a package showed up and it had an A6000 in it with no other information, and then through the process of elimination, I was like, I think I know who sent it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I figured it out.
Oh, did
I
you?
sent you a message. I'm like, was this you?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, who else? Sony doesn't send me things in the mail, but
Right.
Gary does.
Okay. This is the first time I ever sent you anything. But anyway, I'm glad that it did because I was one of the first proponents of it. And they accidentally sent me one. There was a girl named
They
Rosie.
accidentally send Gary things. They don't send me anything.
Well, okay. You hear that, everyone? But anyway, so I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is a weird format. Is this an amateur camera or whatever? I called Robert Evans and I said, what's the A6000? He goes, it's the fastest autofocus in the world. 100. Now it's 429 focus points, but and they just had kids and they were crawling around and they move fast. So I said, I'm interested. I picked that thing up and 11 frames per second.
Yeah, it's fast.
Well, now it becomes the leading seller in the world. Now, of course, I'm a flash guy. All right. So you've got a problem with, as you know, the softness of the light is inversely proportional to the size of the
I don't
source.
think it would work with this lens either.
Well, it would not work. You would have like
a nice dome.
Yeah, you would have the
You would have
eclipse
the
of
Gary
the moon.
dome, yeah.
Right. But it's really harsh. But so what we did was we put this guy in here like this, and this is our bounce panel, and you just go like that, and then it'll shoot right up into it. Oh, I turned the flash off. But it'll bounce off the ceiling and again fill this panel. And then, when you're done with it, you can just put it on there like that. Because storage is a big deal. Like my light sphere, it's collapsible now. So you can just go whoomp and it's an inch thick. So for me, storage is a really big deal. But that's kind of our new thing. So this is just now coming out. And we've got a new series that's going to be coming out. Not ready to show it yet, but it'll be out in, I think, December. I'll be excited for that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So what kind of advice, to wrap it up shortly, what kind of advice do you have for photographers today looking to make this a viable business?
Cinema. Absolutely. You have to go into cinema. I don't know if you've seen my family photos, but we had our family videos. We had our cinematographer, Justin, film our kids like at Halloween or whatever. And holy smokes, when you put good cinematic production values into a family, a day in the life of a family, and you show that to them, they just go nuts over it.
Which means you need to know how to shoot that. You need to also do stills to cut in for those other segments, and then you need to know how to edit.
Yeah, it's not that big of a learning curve.
No, we have a guide for it.
You do?
We
Fantastic.
do. The FroKnowsPhoto Guide to video editing.
People need to buy that. You need to buy that, everybody, because it took me forever to figure out Adobe Premiere and, where's the media browser? What the hell? Right? And all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad you do, because that information needs to get out there.
Sure. So what's next for you? What do you do with yourself? I mean, I see you're making movies.
Yep.
You're building a house that looks amazing, which I've seen on the internet, and you're writing the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm doing full time now. I started writing about 1.5 years ago. I had a concept, and then I just thought, I got on YouTube, how do you write a screenplay, and learned about Final Draft and downloaded it and wrote the first one. Sent it off to a friend who was an entertainment attorney. She sent it to an agent. Then I got an agent. It was that fast. I got one of the most respected agents in Hollywood, and then started meeting all these, different producers and things like that. And then one day, Greg Sestero, him and Tommy Wiseau have millions of fans. They did this atrocious movie 15 years ago called The Room. Have you seen it? Or
Nope. You asked me before.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
I
mean, with that rousing recommendation, the most terrible of worst movies ever.
Right.
I should definitely go watch it.
The thing is it's so bad. It's an awesome comedy, and it's a hilarious comedy. And I tried to get my wife to watch it, and I said, can we screen this for my birthday? And I'll just get a bunch of people. And she said, I'll be waiting outside with a cake and candles.
Right.
I said, why don't you want to watch it? And she goes, why would I want to waste my time watching the worst movie of all time? And I didn't have a good answer for that, A year later, the co-stars in our car were picking up from the airport. And I told him the story, just mortified her, right? But he's used to it, So, but I became friends with him when I started being in Hollywood. And James Franco and Seth Rogen bought the rights to his book. to make a movie, and it's coming out in March. It's called The Masterpiece.
Those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how he laughs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was not a very good laugh by Seth Rogen's laugh, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that was better.
Was that better? Okay.
That was better.
Yeah. Yeah. So that happened, and then I started kind of collaborating with Greg on some of the stuff. He comes up with this dream of the story, and I said, let me turn it into some structure. And we made a screenplay, shot the trailer, and it was interesting. An interesting thing was being a director. I never thought I was going to ever direct. He asked me to do it, and I said, well, okay, how are you so sure? He said, well, character, story, character drive, and you've been behind a camera for 20 years. It's not going to be that hard.
Right.
So, then there I was at a set, extras, cast, and it was so natural. But it was natural because I was a wedding photographer. There's no better training to be a director than to be a wedding photographer. If you think about it, it's like, oh, need all the groomsmen. Hey, can you straighten your tie and, put the drink down? Flowers are 45 minutes late. Everyone's losing their freaking minds. All that matters is the pictures look like everything was just beautiful the whole day, right? Well, all that matters in a screenplay is that we follow the story. And so that the actor can't have a performance that falls out of the story. He can't be a brooding criminal, and then all of a sudden he's this goofy goofball. So you have to have that kind of that fabric woven into all the different scenes, and have that in your mind, and then convey that into the final cut. So
Sure.
Yeah.
So with the Fong, the light spheres, what's the is that something you see yourself doing forever, or is that a business that you would sell?
No, I've had a couple, and I'm sure you've had offers to buy, whatever assets you have on your thing. I've been asked a couple times, and given some pretty encouraging bids, but no. And the thing is that it's because, well, to answer your question, I'll do it for as long as there are customers who need help with their lighting. For me, it's really never been about, I know it doesn't sound like it, but it's never really been about money or anything. It's about making people satisfied, And that's one thing that's really interesting thing about Hollywood. What's your opinion of Hollywood? What do you think people are like in Hollywood?
Well, I would think that behind closed doors, people are just people.
Right.
So, I've been around a bunch of different people over there, and there is the fakeness, but then there's good people everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. What I found is that they're the highest moral standard of any group I've ever seen. Everybody's been in long-term marriages. Everybody picks up their kids from school. They're all family-oriented, and they don't talk about money until it comes down to when you have to.
Right.
And they don't talk about who they know or how cool they are or how big their spread is. Everyone talks about the thing that's important, which is the story. And so what it's about, it's like, oh, I really like what that character did. And at all levels, if you can fall in love with a story, that's the beautiful part. And that goes back to the campfire. Like a lot of times I'm thinking, let's sit around a campfire and, all right, so there was this creepy monster and he came out of a lagoon, right? And everyone's, yeah, tell me more. That's as old as caveman time, right?
Yeah.
And that's what filmmaking is, and that's what everything is. Or wedding photography, it's storytelling. So, and that's what YouTube is. It's storytelling.
Yes, it is.
So that to me is just the most fun part.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to call it a day there.
Fun. I'm glad I came.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. Enjoy going back to the mortuary conference.
Right.
Tell me what's new and materials being made for caskets.
There's an iPhone app where you can look inside the casket.
No.
There's transmitter that comes out. And
No.
You're right. No.
No.
I know. You're right.
And does it have a soft lighting sphere that it goes through too inside?
But I'm writing that in because as we're going through the aisles, there's going to be different people pitching different things.
Well, that's good.
Because bereavement is a huge industry. It's gigantic.
There's lots of money left in that.
There is.
So not to go down a bad path, which I tend to do. My mom passed away, right? 2008 or something. and you're sitting there at the funeral home. Goldsteins, Jews, you know how it is. We had a sitter. There's a thing that you can have a sitter at, and they read the Torah, not the Torah, but the prayers and stuff over. They were called a watcher. And what they did in the olden times was they made sure that people didn't mess with the body or try to baptize them or something before that they were buried. Because Jews, like Muslims, within 3 days, you're supposed to be buried and stuff like that. So there was that. But then when you look at the bill and they give you the bill and you're sitting there and it's $800 for refrigeration costs, I said, what'd you do? Buy the fucking refrigerator?
Right.
I'm like, come on. Because in that, it just seems like they get you at your worst, and you just sit there and you're like, well, that's what it is. I just sat there. I'm like, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like $800 for that for a
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know, because
but
how
that's
many
what the market will bear, and that's probably because people get an inheritance, and it's like, well, out of this $100,000, 800 is going to go to keeping them smelling fresh.
I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in the least.
Right.
So no, but that's just a little side thing there. But no, thank you very much for coming out.
Yeah.
Enlightening us with the stories and the business practices, which is what I love talking about, the business angle of it. And it's cool to see where it started and all of the different paths along the way. And I do see a huge business acumen there. And that's probably why you're sitting here and talking about it. So cool. Thank you,
so
man.
Much. All right. Pleasure.
Thanks. So there you have it. That's an interview with Mr. Gary Fong. I hope you enjoyed the backstory of how the Fong Dome came about. I think that was pretty cool. He's like, I've actually never told anybody this.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
Not as big as the Kolner Dome, but close.
No, definitely not as big, but worth more. He could be. He could be worth
probably
more.
Close.
But really cool, super business savvy person. I found it interesting talking about the trademark, not the trademark, the patent infringement stuff.
Yeah.
With the knockoffs coming out of China, how he quashed
cut it all
that.
off. Yeah.
Because if you don't quash that, you're screwed. And we see it all the time where they knock things off. But that was really awesome to hear.
Do they still do that, you think, these days? In like Photokina? Have a booth set up where you can just go and say, hey, this booth's infringing on my product.
I don't know. But when you go to the booths and it says China on top of the booth, because they didn't want to pay for the banner, so it just says China.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Photokina for you. So I thought that was a pretty cool interview. Really awesome to have Gary in.
And the fact that he shot the whole movie on what, A6300 and the A7S?
Well, it was the A.
Something like that.
It was one of the Sonys that they're
A7
shooting.
series, yeah.
They talk about the glass. Like we say, you can shoot anything on anything.
Yep, it's all about
if you have the
story.
people that know what they're doing,
It's a tool,
lighting it properly.
just like Steven.
It's a tool, just like Todd.
Just like Dan.
Who?
Just like Jared.
Oh, equal opportunity.
Yes.
I mean, last thing we want is Dan getting all defensive.
I know he's real bitchy today, by the way.
I can't believe how defensive Dan gets.
I know. He gets all mad and starts to stutter. And then tell me he doesn't stutter.
He just yells. But you tell me.
I'm angry. I need more shots in my coffee.
3 shots of espresso, and now he's drinking a La Colombe. This segment brought to you by La Colombe Draft Latte, now in a can.
That's 2.5 cups of coffee in one can.
Holy shit.
Pretty amazing.
That they're not a sponsor. I do drink enough tea there, though. What did I do now? Gear of the week, and then let's do Flying Solo.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Gear of the week this week's comes by the way of Vietnam, all the way from Vietnam. It's not Adrian Cronauer. Adrian Cronauer. You know who Adrian Cronauer is?
I don't. Thank you.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Okay.
You've watched Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
And I love how Robert Wool is in that movie. He is funny as hell. He played Arliss on HBO.
Was that Robin Williams in that one?
Yes, it was Robin Williams.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, he's like
good.
with the guy from When Harry Met Sally. He goes, "What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you? Innings over."
No.
It's one of the greatest lines ever in a movie. What's 3 up and 3 down mean to you? Innings over. I think that was the line. Anyway, the reason I bring up Vietnam is because that's where think tank bags are made.
Yes.
And we have a Bahamut. Hey, Dan, could you be the person that grabs the bag and just takes it out of the box and holds it there like Vanna White, please?
Could you be his bitch? Is what he's trying to say.
So this bag is here. What's it called, Dan? What's that called? It's on the
blue tag.
Blue tag?
Yeah, right there in front of you.
What?
Helipack.
Helipack
Backpack
backpack series. So hold that up. So what that takes is a DJI Inspire.
Put it on, Dan. Put it on like a backpack.
Yeah, Dan's gonna put it on like a backpack. Look, First off, if you've ever
That
seen
is
an Inspire,
huge.
but you know how big the Inspire is.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the big Pelican totes for them? Yeah. Do you want to take that around? Or
It's like the
you could-
1650 Pelican totes. They're giant.
They're huge. Or you could put it in this, which is still big. I mean, that is a huge.
just
oh
it's a
my god!
big version
You know
of
what he
the
looks
helipack.
like? He looks like an astronaut in
does.
space. It looks like his rebreather. Roger, Dan is leaving the lunar module. Dan is holy shit! Look at the size of that bag.
It's literally the Phantom 4 helipack, but just made for the.
Can you let me know how it's on the surface of the moon there? Come back. One small step from man, one giant leap from mankind.
Goodbye, Chew. All right, thank you, Dan. Thank you very much for modeling the think tank bag. So I have 8 million think tank bags. I asked for this one because Richie needed it for his Inspire because he has an Inspire 1 Pro.
He's got an Inspire 1 Pro with the X5 camera payload.
Yeah, and then if there's anything else we want to put in there, maybe not put an Inspire in there. I'm sure it could do it.
You could fit anything in there.
It's really big.
Yeah.
But Think Tank makes awesome, incredible bags, as you know. But that's Gear of the Week. That's not a plug. That's just Gear of the Week. Let's get into flying solo, Steven.
Let's do it.
And Todd.
Oh,
What was that?
It was
it's
a
an
plane.
airplane.
Oh, that wasn't Dan going back to the lunar module?
Maybe. But I also have Dave.
Put your seats in the upright position and keep your opinions to yourself, because we're flying solo.
And the first question is from Shane Boweni.
Hey, Jared, Steven, and Todd. My name's Cheyenne. I'm 16 years old, and I'm from Dublin, California. And I launched my portrait photography business about a year ago. And I launched my website and business cards. I started marketing myself. But still, even a year later, I'm still struggling with getting clients, even though people love my work and they're always complimenting me and, telling me like, oh, like I want to shoot, but they never really want to pay for it. And I am in high school and most of my clients do come from inside the school, but I'm trying to expand as well. So Jared, I know you started young. So any tips on how to expand my clientele would really be appreciated. I love the show, guys. Thank you so much.
Good question, Shane. Yes, Shane, right? Shayyan.
Shane,
It
yep.
sounded like
So-
you said like Shan, but
Shane, whatever.
yeah.
So you've been shooting for a year. Awesome. People like your work. Awesome.
And you're 16.
You're 16.
Yeah.
Awesome. You've been shooting for a year. Awesome.
You're
I've been
great.
shooting for 22 years, and I didn't make money for decades.
I mean, he's a go-getter.
You know.
Good for him, but it's not that easy.
Here's your focus, man. I know you want to get paid. You're not going to get paid by the high school kids. It's not going to happen.
Unless it's drugs or something like that. Then
Oh, yeah. Sell drugs when at your
Steven.
photo shoots. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a politically correct show.
Oh, wait.
Excuse me.
Excuse
me.
I think I'm in the wrong place. Sorry.
This is RAWtalk. No, so it's awesome you're doing these. A business cards website, that's fine.
Yeah, good
Business
for him.
cards, so much, not a
he
big
beat
deal.
me to the website thing.
The website, great. It just takes time. You just keep shooting. My recommendation to you is enjoy what you shoot. Go shoot as much as you can. You're not going to go very far to do these shoots if you're just working for these kids within your neighborhood or within your community within a bunch of miles around. Just
Build your portfolio while you're living at home and on your parents' insurance.
Yep.
learn the video, learn
you can
everything.
afford to do photography.
Learn the marketing, learn the branding. I would even go work for free somewhere that would be like a social media. You're in California, so there's got to be some social media businesses around there.
Just offer businesses free
volunteer.
photos. Yes.
And
I'm
go
sure
to
the school has like a newspaper or something.
yeah.
that
Well,
you
the
can-
schools, screw them.
whatever it is.
But like Todd was just saying, go to local places and say, I want to shoot. And maybe they'll pay you in food. Maybe they'll pay you in trade. But
Drugs.
I wouldn't be looking for the money so much right now. I know you want the money because money is power, but freedom.
But when they use your photos on their Instagram or
Exactly.
on their website, all of a sudden, now you're that guy.
It's a shame because it's the age thing. I guarantee a lot of people don't take him
Of
seriously because of the
course.
age, and he could be incredible. It's just they're probably not going to pay you because you're 16.
Well,
but you
exactly.
get your name out there like that, then they'll maybe take you more seriously.
Shoot as much as you can, work as much as you
Yeah.
can, spread your name as much as you can.
your
Don't
thing.
really worry about the money because it's just not going to happen right now. Just keep up the good work. That's all I
Enjoy
can say.
being a kid.
Yeah, I guess.
Go get laid.
That
Do
too.
some drugs.
Do some drugs.
I think you're better off getting
Just
laid
kidding,
than
don't.
the drugs, as long as you wear protection.
With the drugs?
No, don't get drugs in a condom. That's bad.
Oh.
Todd, the kid is in high school. Well, he should know all this stuff already.
Yeah.
In high school,
Yeah, you
we
didn't say elementary school.
Yeah, it's not like
So
we're talking to his
check out
8-year-old.
this class at Council Rock High School when I went. You needed to have a parent's permission slip to get into the human sex 12 class. We had rape victims come in to speak about being raped.
When you were 12.
Oh my.
No.
No, 12th grade.
Human sex 12th
12th
grade.
grade.
Yeah.
We had transgender. A woman became a man. She came in and talked and answered everything. Yes, she had a strap on. I didn't ask it.
Oh my God.
Yes, she uses that to please her
TMI.
girlfriend. I didn't ask it. But this was you needed permission slip to get into the class. It was talk about
I'd like
a very
to go to that class right now.
Talk about a very informative class.
Progressive.
Me, virgin, sitting in the class as they're going around and people are asking questions and these girls are talking about getting railed, the hot girls. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, this is better than the internet. Because the internet wasn't, 99. You didn't have those sites.
And Jared the Virgin sitting
Jared
there.
the Virgin sitting there with my glasses and my hair
his little nugget.
over to the side.
Eddie
Dan,
Munster sitting there.
His little
Dan,
nugget
pop up my
sprouting.
picture of me in 12th grade. Thank you. Yeah, that was like that. What an interesting class. But it was highly educational because
Sounds it.
you
I had a
learned
bunch of
lot.
speakers like that too, but I don't remember if we needed a permission slip or not.
Yeah, it was pretty. Did you ever have
you
sex
loved
ed that
that.
was good? I thought it was a great class. It was great, except for when you watch like a birth and it's from 1970.
Oh my God.
It was
They would show that one Lifetime movie that was The Birth.
so this kid came out. He
Oh, look, the baby has lots of hair. Oh, wait, that's not the baby.
the baby came out with basically an afro. It was kind of funny.
And there was 2 white parents?
No. Oh. Yeah, and then Shaft came out and was like, Shaft. Bad. Okay,
Dad's like,
we
God
sidetracked.
damn it, Martha.
Maddie Simpson. If a bride books you for a wedding, but then after a conversation/meeting with her, she wants a different style to your usual shooting, do you try to shoot/edit in crushed edit in that style, shoot in your own way, or suggest that she has the wrong photographer? Look, if she's already booked you, she probably likes the work that you do. Or if she booked you and then is telling you what to do, she probably booked you based off of price and doesn't really give a shit about the rest.
Yep.
In my opinion, you stick to your guns about what you do. If something is totally out of the norm from what you normally shoot, I'd be like, yeah, that's not my style. I don't do that, so I don't do that. It really shouldn't be a hard conversation to say, yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. I'll do a couple of those, and I'll do a couple of what I do.
That's what I was gonna say.
You try
Meet
to
'em
do. You
halfway.
try to be as amenable as possible so that you don't lose the job, but you also don't go the opposite direction of what you do just to do it. You need to stick to what you do because that's what you do best.
Do you?
Any other feedback for that?
Nope.
Hugo Onink. O-N-I-N-K. On-ink. Shit, on-ink. Hey guys, as a uni student, I'm always low on cash. So I figured...
Sell drugs.
Webcam. So I figured I'd like to second shoot for weddings and events.
Nope, God's my second shooter. Position's taken.
How do you get in touch with the photographers? Just contact them?
Sell
or
them
are there
drugs.
specific agencies to look out for? Thanks, and looking forward to more shows, smiley face emojicon. So you want to make you want to make some money assisting, pick up the goddamn phone and call somebody. That's what you
Network.
do.
Yep.
Oh, well, I guess you could do that too.
You find the people in your area, search wedding photographers in wherever you're at.
I'm sure the Knot has a ton listed.
Good idea, Steven.
Steven.
Wait, put on a glove first so I don't get my hand.
Nice and slimy.
Give him a high five.
This one's even worse. Feel that one.
Oh my God, he's got natural lubrication built in.
That must have been great when you were 13.
So you great idea, Steven. The knot is a good idea.
Not.
But that's if it's just for the knot. Did he say wedding photography? No, he just wants a second shoot. Find the portrait
Second shoot
studios.
wedding photography,
Find businesses that do creative, that do video, that do the marketing. It's the same shit I say over and over. But literally, pick up the phone and go find somebody. You want extra money? Maybe you won't get extra money. You'll get experience, or maybe they'll throw you a couple of bucks an hour, $10 an hour, $12 an hour, whatever it is. Earn your keep or get $50 to go do a wedding. Just make yourself indispensable. Walk into the door. First knock on the door. Wait till they open it. Show them your work.
Kick down the door.
I got drugs.
You want drugs? I'll be your drug dealer. No, but make it so that it's so good that they're gonna want to hire you. Be like, yeah, I need experience. I'm in college. I'd like to make an extra couple of bucks. Here's the work that I do. Here's what I like to do. Would you what?
Can I sell drugs for you?
Just imagine the guy being like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do photos. You should sell drugs."
Does he just want to assist or shoot too?
It says assist.
Okay. Because there's a lot of assisting jobs you can get, but
Hey guys, I'm a uni
shooting
student.
is a little tougher.
I'm always low on cash, so I figured I'd like to second shoot for weddings and events.
So it is weddings. Okay, all right.
Well, yeah, if you could find a way. Look, you may not be a second shooter. You may be the third shooter that makes $50,
Or
carries
nothing.
the bags,
Yeah.
maybe takes a couple of pictures, but at least it's something.
The experience alone, that's huge.
Jeff Poole from Pittsburgh.
Hey, Fro, Steve, and Todd. Quick question for you guys. I shoot high school sports, and I'm having problems getting sharp faces. I know it's quick action. Any advice? Getting a lot of sharp jerseys, but not a lot of sharp faces. Any help would be appreciated. Thanks.
So that's a good question. Getting a lot of sharp jerseys, but not faces, which leads me to believe that it's the focus point. Where are you focusing?
Just the body.
If your focus point is on the body, theoretically the face should kind of be in focus.
But it's not critical focus.
Well, so what I used to do with sports is I would focus on the chest area.
Well, what aperture would you be at when you shoot sports like that?
Well, it depends. If it's if it's in the evening. Back in the day, I was at 2.8 and
Wide
shooting
open.
800
Yeah.
speed film with a slower shutter speed. Nowadays, I mean, I'll still go to 3.2, even though I have a 2.8, because the 3.2 will give me a little bit more leeway at a distance. If they're super far and you fill the frame, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between here and this area. So I try to put the box up in that area, but if not, I put it here. But it's partly. I mean, if you're getting something sharp like the shirt, then your shutter speed is probably fine. It may be the focusing point. Do the dynamic area focus, or get the focus point up. Even if you only have 9 focusing points and you're shooting vertical, put it up more at the top, and then you get the people coming towards you that way. You also have to contend, if it's football, with the mask.
Yeah,
it makes
that's
it a
the
little
tough
more
part.
difficult.
Yeah.
That's why I try to focus in on the chest, because most of the time,
Most of the time, you're
if it's
fine.
a night game,
Depends on what plane they're on, but yeah.
and if it's a night game, they have a helmet on. It's like a natural shield to the light. Their face is going to be dark unless they're running into the light type of stuff. If it's during the day, you just need a fast enough shutter speed and bump your aperture to f4. And you should be perfectly fine.
I agree.
Nicholas Ryan Watts. Hey guys, with how bombarded we are with raw, untouched videos on social media or vlogs like Casey Neistat, first off, his videos are highly polished and edited because he does so much in the way of editing. So it's not just raw. Where the human aspect is left in, and first off, a lot of that human aspect is done for purpose. When he's opening doors, when he knocks his camera over, sometimes, yes, he'll leave it in there for effect.
Yeah, he definitely does that on purpose.
The human aspect is left in there and not edited out like dropping the camera. Do you think that the style of untouched to not flawless editing is going to filter into other genres of videos related media besides just social media and vlogs? ? Let me just say that this isn't anything new. We saw it by the way of a movie called Cloverfield. Cloverfield was a first-person vlog style shot
Blair
from the
Witch.
perspective.
I was going to say Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Look
that
at
was
the note
first.
right there. The Blair Witch was next on my list. Is to say that was shot in a way that it was not perfect, but done fake. So it's been there before. It's just I also think that the millennial people they don't need super polished and they want more real, more authentic. But just remember that reality shows are not real and authentic. They're all highly scripted. Well, not high. They're basic. Like I was watching. What is it when those guys go around? They go into barns and they buy shit.
American
Pickers.
American Pickers.
My favorite part of American Pickers is when they go, we were just out here freestyling and we happened
Just
upon
by chance.
this perfect place that had everything we've always been looking for.
And it's crazy how we're lit perfectly here in this,
I know.
in this
In
shot.
the
How does
middle
it
of
look
West
so nice?
Virginia. It's like we were freestyling today. It's like I get it where they don't know what they're getting into, but the producers have called months in
Location
advance.
has been scouted.
And they went and checked out the location. They moved stuff to make sure that certain things could be found. Or they look, what, you send Dan?
Dan's grandfather had them visit his place.
Oh.
Dan, get on mic real quick.
They found my grandfather's place was too organized. It had
Wow.
the right stuff, but it wasn't messy enough for their look.
That's funny.
So I still enjoy watching American Pickers. I hate, though, when he sits there and goes, I'm glad I could buy this and keep it in the community. Fuck you. You're looking to make $1. Just call a spade, and a heart, and a diamond. We know you want to make, that's cool, but stop that fake bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, and
that sees through.
This person talking about, less edited, more real. The most real it's going to be is one take, and the person just rambling is going to be terrible. Like you said, Casey cuts all kinds of stuff in it. He cuts
audio,
B-roll, and different things and different shots. That whole thing is edited, and that's probably why he's so popular. If it was a one camera talking to the camera doing nothing, it would be terrible. Yeah, and even jump cuts. I mean, even all the jump cutting on YouTube is an editing process where you're taking out the dead space and the bullshit and all that stuff. So it's still not
I noticed that's
real.
become more of a thing, though.
It's more of it's an easier style of editing. Like to cut and not let the cuts be seen is way more difficult than jump cuts. Neither is good or bad. Neither is better than the other. But
speaking of jump cuts, check out the FroKnowsPhoto Guide to Video Editing.
Yes,
I don't know the link right now, Dan. It's video-editing-guide. That's what it is. FroKnowsPhoto.com/video-editing-guide. Go there right now and purchase for how many dollars? I think it's $197.
I think it's like $1 million.
$197.
Oh,
but whatever. It's highly valuable and worth it. Okay, Anton Weiler. Any advice on how to talk to building owners / local governments about shooting in abandoned building? Love urbexing, but not trespassing charges. Also, if you decide to answer my question, just butcher my name. Everyone else does. Thanks, Fro. Anton Weiler. I mean, really?
Not much
Is
to
your
butcher
name
there.
like Antoine or something? Weiler. No, it's Antoine Weiler. Anton. ANTON What
Anton
else would it
Weiler.
be?
Yeah.
Send it in. Why didn't you phonetically send? Why didn't you make a video and say my name?
As far as the buildings are concerned, you'd probably want to contact the building owner. And then you're going to need a release, and then they might want you to have insurance.
So that's good stuff.
You're welcome.
First off, I like the fact that you think urbanexing is stupid and trespassing is bad, because I agree that urban exploring is kind of like, hey, I just went and explored this building. Look at all the graffiti here. It's amazing. But no, dude, finding the right channels, like Todd just said, which wasn't part of my notes. That's a great idea. Building owner.
What were you going to say?
Well, one, if you're looking, if it's municipality owned, because it's city owned, you call the city and you go through the proper channels and you talk to the secretary first. Be super nice to the secretary because they're the key to everything else. And just say, hey, I wanted to follow the right channels. I will take these photos and maybe you can use them in the redevelopment plans. And maybe it could be what you could use at the next board meeting to say, you know what, we need to spend some money on fixing this up. Sure. So just find the marketing and sales pitch around it, not just, hey, I want to go take some photos. Hey, it's Dan.
I mean, if you have a budget, I mean, we've shot music videos at buildings that were not cool, but we got in touch with the building owner, had the insurance, signed off like so that they were not responsible for us killing ourselves.
Maybe step on a rusty nail or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's doable.
Good answers, Todd. Darren Altman has a video question.
Hey there, FroKnowsPhoto, Jared, Steven, and the Wolfman. What's going on? My question for today is really mostly about flash. I have the flash guide, but my question is, what is the best setup? I want to take my flash to the next level for like doing parties. So right now I have the flash on the camera, on a bracket, but I feel like I could do a little better. What is your advice for doing flash in addition to the on-camera flash in a party where you're the one-man photographer? Thanks.
All right, thanks, Darren, for your question. That's simple. Get your flash off your goddamn camera.
I'd go
even
Why
on
would
a
you run
bracket.
and gun with a setup like that?
Well,
though?
so here's what they do at weddings all the time.
Exactly.
What you do is you set up a wireless trigger and you put the flash over there.
And you typically have not just one, you have a few scattered
You
throughout.
could have a few,
Yeah.
or I've seen as easy as the one that you have, and you put it at an angle, and you move your body to get the different effects of the light. So you trigger it and they hit a certain spot. You could stand with your back to the flash, which is going to give you a flat lighting here. Or if you're at a 45-degree angle from it or a 90-degree angle, you're getting a different type of lighting that's much cleaner than if you shot it right on camera. Those slower shutter speeds, the 1/50th, the 1/40th of a second, where you let that ambient light come in. It sounds like I know how to shoot fucking flash.
Rear curtain
we all
flash.
know that's not true.
Well, it is
All
true,
that.
though, because I've done it
Yeah.
a lot. Actually, not a lot. I just don't do it often. But when I was doing weddings, we did all the time. Richie, when I would shoot with Richie or when I shot weddings with Greg, you'd put a Q flash. You know, a Q flash, and it has a big battery. You put that up, and you have the dome on it, not a Gary Fong dome, but the reflector, and it puts out a nice,
and the
awesome light.
One of the most important things too with that is having external battery pack for your flashes, because they die fast. First of all, most flashes,
and you need recycling.
Speed lights especially give you what 200-300 shots.
Well, that's a lot
at
of shots.
Most.
That's a lot of shots
But
at dumping
at a
full
wedding,
power.
I'm saying
Not
all
when you're
day.
partying hard.
You also have to. Andrew WK. That was an Andrew WK song.
Mm-hmm.
We like to party. It's not a party. Whatever, Andrew
Okay.
WK. But no, that's what I would do. You get the flash literally off your camera. And if you're doing events, you want to radio trigger it, not have it triggered by a flash, because all these other people. But you know what? I wonder if cell phone flashes. We should do a test. Do cell phone flashes trigger the optic of a slave from the flash?
Well, if you have it synced up via infrared signal or something like that.
Not infrared. I'm talking about, I want to know, does a bullshit light on a iPhone flash going off, will that trigger the slave on the flash? Because in the old days, people would bring their point and shoots, and they would take a picture with the flash, and it would throw off yours.
Well, because it would think it's your flash.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think
I mean, if
the
you're
light
doing
is bright
wireless
enough.
triggers, it shouldn't matter.
No, I know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to see. I don't think in this day and age most people will have a flash. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. Moving on. Aaron Tremblay.
Hey guys, Aaron from Tucson, Arizona. Just needed some advice on the next lens purchase. I want to get either the 24-70 or the 70-200 f2.8 from Canon. Do mostly weddings, bit of concerts, portraits, senior portraits, stuff like that. Wanted to see what your absolute next must-have lens would be between those two, the 24-70 f2.8 or the 70-200 f2.8. Thanks for all you guys do.
Well, first off, it would help in the future if you told me what lenses you do have.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to determine between a 24-70 and a 70-200, I question what lenses do you actually have, because if you don't
18
have
to 135. Shut up, Jared.
18 to 135.
8mm.
So between those two, my answer is both, based off of your answer.
Because money's
No, it's not that money is no
Money's no
object.
object.
It's the fact that he says, I shoot weddings, I shoot these things, you make money. These are the two lenses, 24-70
Most
and
important.
70-200. With those two lenses, you could do almost anything you want on a full-frame body. We'll talk about
And
the
if you're
DX
selling
body
drugs, you can do anything.
24-70. Like look, you shoot wedding. I think if you're more of a wedding shooter and you're looking to do parties and events, the 24-70, begrudgingly, I
Way
would say,
more versatile.
it may be more versatile at the beginning. If you're doing mostly portraits
Safer
and sports,
option.
70-200. I bought an 80-200 2.8 ED, my first lens, and everybody was like, no, you need the 35-70 first. I'm like, no, I'm shooting sports. That's not going to work for me. And I stuck to my guns as a 14 or 15-year-old and got what I thought was right. You need to own both.
See, my thing is I find myself using the 24-70 more because, like I said, it's more versatile. But I prefer the shots from the 70-200 because of the compression and all
You
that.
get up close and personal.
Jay Lynch, why do you dislike Nikon 16mm fisheye, and what Nikon mount fisheye is better in your opinion? I hate the 16mm fisheye because it's super old
Hasn't
and
been
not
updated.
sharp.
Yeah.
It's just not sharp. It still
Kinda like
has...
me.
What?
Kind of like me.
No, like your 24-70. Except sharper than your 24-70, because your 24-70 is... I don't even know what the hell you did to
Definitely
it.
drop that thing one day.
Somebody dropped that.
Yeah,
I blame Hing. I don't blame Dan. Do you remember the time that Dan was at my first loft, and you're like, there's glare on that picture on the wall? Next thing I know, somebody is messing with my picture on the wall,
Just putting tape behind it so to arc it up a little bit.
tape to a pencil.
Jared proceeds to snap. Snap. About a picture. One of these pictures just with plastic wrap around
Not
it.
plastic wrap. They were professionally
laminated.
encapsulated.
Yeah, professionally
Laminated.
encapsulated, whatever. And,
Like
and
bullshit
it's
answer.
gaff tape. Just gaff tape balled up just to kind of push it out to get the glare off.
With a pen behind
Snaps.
it. It was like that.
Snaps.
Did Dan snap back like he's
No.
like today?
No, Dan was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like, don't you ever touch my pictures. I was like, oh, but it works.
Some things don't change, Dan.
Yeah, but I don't yell that much anymore.
This week.
So I don't like the 16 fisheye. Still has the aperture ring. It's just outdated. I would look at something from Sigma. I mean, at the very least, you got Rokinon if you want to manually focus it. But I guess I would look at a Sigma. Yeah. I guess.
There's a lot of options, a lot of third-party options.
But gotta be for full frame.
That Nikon is old, though.
Boris Arumov.
Hey, Jared, Steven, and Todd, in that particular order. Longtime fan of the show here. I've actually been listening to you since way before FroKnowsPhoto, when you were posting videos still on the Jared Polin, jaredpolin.com. We've actually Skyped as well. You've given me a Skype critique back in the day when you used to do those. So that is actually my question. Are you planning on bringing Skype critiques back at any point? Cheers, bro. Love everything you do. You've brought a lot of value to me. So keep it up. Thank you.
So he basically asked, he said, so way back in the day when I first started, I would do Squarespace rapid fire critiques. I would critique people's best 10 photos with them on the line while I looked at the images.
It'd be live.
Skype.
Not Squarespace.
Did I say Squarespace?
You said Squarespace rapid fire critiques.
Oh, anyway, go to
Well, yeah. I know what you
squarespace.com/fro to get a 14-day free trial of Squarespace.
Random plug.
So
Hashtag random
Skype,
plug.
I would do a Skype rapid fire critique. The problem with it was coordinating time with people.
It's tough.
Because
Especially if
I
they're
want
around
to
the
make
world.
4 of these in the afternoon.
At 9 a.m., that's so I decided to text Todd then.
When everyone's had a daytime job or something like that.
Right, it was difficult. Or somebody is in a foreign country, and then you try to get them on, or then they're not good on camera, and they don't give you anything. So that's why I switched it up. When we get to the Fro Factory, I'm trying to. We've come up with a new idea for a show, series type of thing, and we're going to work on that. And we will be live talking to people. So I'm not gonna tell you too much about what it is, but we're gonna test it out.
But know that when we say new idea, it means we stole it from somebody else.
Who? No, I mean we're gonna work on some stuff that it's fun, it's gonna be informative, it's gonna be good. So Boris, first again, anyway, thank you for watching since JaredPolin.com days.
It's pretty incredible.
When I first started,
say hello to Natasha.
when I first started, I did this. I was making these really bad videos and doing mini reviews, and then I quit for a couple years.
Knows. You always said photo. Photo.
Well, like crown.
Photo, I think.
Like crown.
With
Like
a D.
crown.
Photo.
I used to say Jared. I didn't say Jared. It was Jared Polin. Fro knows photo.
See ya.
And then anyway, I had to change
Photography 101.
All right.
My
These
Nikon.
are my Nikon.
Can we go back to
lenses.
making fun of Dan?
Nope.
Wait. No, that's what I used to say in the video. Nope. No. Here is a lineup
Jared
of my Nikon
Polin.
lenses. We have the
No.
I just love that you got like so angry at yourself.
I just couldn't deliver. I don't know what the
Nowadays, you're like, nope. Freaking out.
It's just more aggressive now.
Alberto
Way more.
Martin. Hi. Here, Alberto from Salamanca. Ooh, Salamanca.
Salamanca.
That's from Breaking Bad. Salamanca, Spain. Rapid question. Is there a good moment to go from amateur to pro?
As soon as you get paid.
There you go. It's not much depth that needs to go into this. There's no such thing as going from amateur to pro. You just do. Like, it shouldn't even be a thing. You're either getting paid or you're not getting paid.
That's the only difference. You're paid or you're not. Yep.
Corey Mathery. Video question.
What's up, Fro, Steven, and Todd? What is your opinion on fast standard zoom lenses such as the Sigma 17-50 f2.8? I shoot APS-C, so it gives me roughly 24-70 if I get that lens. What's your opinion on it?
I got you already.
We heard you. Stop repeating yourself.
So good. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because I always talk about the Hebrew Trinity being the 24-70, 70-200, like we said for the question before.
For full frame. Yeah.
When I was at Allen's,
You mean the Christian Trinity?
well, it's the Hebrew Trinity, the
The
Christian
Holy
Trinity,
Trinity.
the three
The
the
real
Holy
Trinity.
the
The
three
real
amigos,
Trinity. Yeah,
the three
the
ninjas,
real
whatever
Trinity.
you
Yeah.
want to call it.
Yeah.
When I was at Allen's Camera, one of the go-to lenses that I would offer would be the 17 to 50 2.8 Sigma. And then if they didn't want to spend that money, which was, what is it, $600, then there was one that was $300 or $350, and that was the 17 to 70 2.8 to f4. It was a variable aperture. So the 17 millimeter range to 50 or 70 is a fantastic range on an APS-C size sensor. So I always recommend that lens. The only thing with the Sigma lens is the fact that they haven't updated it to their new lineup. It's still the older one. It's still fine, but it's not as good as their newer lenses.
You mean like
lenses
the art
are.
lineup?
Like
or?
the art lineup. If they updated the 17 to 50 2.8 and made it an art lens, but maybe they won't do that for crop sensor lenses. The 17 to 50 is a very good option. I highly recommend that because you won't really see imperfections on your crop sensor cameras.
That's true.
You just won't. It's just the nature of the beast. I think it's a good lens.
And what did he say that equates to? Like almost like a 24 to 70?
Roughly
well, so when I had a
frame.
17 to 55 Nikon 2.8, it was the equivalent of a 25.5 to 85.5.
That's a good range. Yeah. That's a great range.
It is.
Yeah. That was the range.
Nice.
So
I feel like he answered his question already.
Yeah,
he already knew the answer.
Yeah.
Nicholas Schutz. How should I sign my fine art prints, or should I? Bottom right corner is what I do. Some people do it in pencil. Other people do it in those...
Crown.
in crown. I do it in... Dan, what are those pens over there?
See?
Dan, the pen on top of Todd's boob book. What is the pen on top of Todd's boob
the
book?
paint markers? Magnetic paint markers?
Yeah, this one is called a Deco.
I'm going to steal
It's
that and go
Deco
tag,
color.
go tag
This
your
is the
building.
silver. So if you're signing aluminum prints, you're signing your fine art prints.
This
and
is the red crown. If you're signing
I
paper.
use these paint pens are better than Sharpies, but Sharpies are what I use a lot of. But these paint pens are exquisitely awesome.
They are
These
nice.
crowns are too.
That's what I got. That's what I got when I went and got my weird science stuff signed.
Linus Force. Hi, Fro, Steven, and the almighty Todd. This question is more aimed at Steven and Todd. What would you guys do if Jared stopped with FroKnowsPhoto?
Dick Talk 101.
Thank God every day of my life. If he stopped, the only
Make
thing that's going to
movies.
stop is a bus running him over.
Oh, damn it. Why are you foreshadowing this? Because now they're going to cut back to episode 204.
Remember when Todd said that? It's funny how Todd became a bus driver.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find a new job.
Yeah. Dick Talk.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Kill it.
Patrick Hennessy.
Hi, Jared, Todd, Stephen, and Dan. I've got a Nikon D7100. It's my second DSLR, and I mainly prefer to shoot wildlife. And I'm thinking about getting myself a super telephoto zoom. I'm looking at the Tamron 150-600 and the Sigma 150-600. If you just, which one's better, be really helpful. And any tips on wildlife photography, be really helpful. Thanks.
Thank you for your question, sir, Mr. Hennessy. I've tested out the Sigma 150-600, both the contemporary and the sport. The sport is extremely heavy. You probably aren't looking at that.
I think it's double the weight. 4 pounds versus 2 or something.
It was 6 pounds.
Was it 6 pounds?
Yeah, it was 4 pounds and 6 pounds.
Wow.
Something like that. Because I couldn't handhold the 150 to 600
I
sport.
thought it was only 2 pounds, the contemporary.
I mean, whatever.
You should
it
work
is.
out.
We could look it up. I still like Sigmas over Tamrons. I just do. I don't know why.
It's a brand recognition thing, I'm sure, at this point.
I just think they put out better lenses.
Yeah.
I do.
mean, with the art lineup, they've really come a long way.
So that's my answer. La-di-da!
Oh.
Lottie Schrander. Do you think you're original as a concert photographer when there are so many concert photographers, and why? So do I consider myself original? Now, I found what is my own style.
OG.
Personally, and my own style was finding my way backstage, getting those candids. Am I the first person to ever go backstage and get candids? No.
Nope.
I
Drug
realized
dealers
that
do it.
my work was very similar to Jim Marshall in the way that what he was doing in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. When I discovered, when he smacked me in the face when I met him, and I finally went and looked at his work, I was like, oh, I've seen this shit, and oh my God, this is amazing, because this is exactly the type of stuff that I like to capture. So if you're just somebody who shoots in the pit, you're going to be the same as everybody else. If you find a different way to put your stamp on something, then yes, you are unique in your way, whether somebody's done it in the past or not. It's not like I was copying somebody I didn't even know. I just was taking what I thought worked, what I like to capture. It so happened to be similar to what people have done in the past. So
Inspiration.
Edmundo Bonilla. Yeah, it's got to be Bonilla.
Guantanamo.
If you can only have 2 lenses to start your business, what would they be? I'm a Nikon guy. Full frame. Oh, I'm going to answer it for full frame.
A lot of lens questions today.
Simple answer. 24 to 70, 70 to 200.
Yeah.
Simple answer. For cropped, 17 to 50, 70 to 200. Done. Paul, Alabama. Hey, Jared. I'm a street photographer. And I don't do any of that commercial photography for people. But is there are ways for monetizing this type of work? So he's a street photographer. Let me do it in English. I'm a street photographer, and I don't do any commercial photography for people. But are ways for monetizing this type of work? ? So if you do street photography, it's not very easy to monetize it. It's just not. But I will give you a prime example of somebody who is probably one of the most successful street photographers of our generation, and that would be Brandon Stanton of Humans of New York. Call it whatever you want. It's extremely successful and has generated millions upon millions of dollars and sold tons and tons of book and raised a lot of money for charity. That's street photography that's been monetized. So there's a will, there's a way, there's a way to do it. I don't have any secrets to that one.
It's rare, but
you
it
get
can happen.
releases for that stuff?
Well, he gets permission.
Well, I think
Brandon Stanton
every
gets
single
permission.
person,
But does
he
he
writes
get them
their
to
story.
sign a release then?
They take a personal story. He's basically telling them that they're going to do it.
Legal document.
Well, he
necessarily, but
what he may be doing. I don't know.
I'm just saying, when you publish stuff.
But he may say on tape, because I think he tape records them so he could write the things later. He may ask, is this okay?
Got you.
Yeah, I'm
know if
sure
that's
there's
good or not.
something he has. There has to be.
I mean, that's the one thing I would say to anybody doing street stuff is just cover your behind somehow that you could, if you decide you want to even sell your street photography, make sure that you've got permission to utilize their image.
Yeah.
Or just steal it when their kids are just climbing by the bikes.
Dan, you want to get my wheel, please? What, Todd? I heard you. First off, she intruded on our video shoot. As we saw in that tape, she's on the other side. And
6-year-olds don't intrude on they
she was 4.
Anything.
They just play.
She intruded. I'm like, I'm going to steal this shot. So be it.
Yeah.
So be it.
Let's go sell that photo.
Creepy.
I just give my photos away. All right, time for the Wheel of Fro. On the Wheel of Fro, we've got audioblocks.com/go/fro. We've got store.froknowsphoto.com to pick your I Shoot Raw shirt up in any color that you would like that's currently in stock.
Actually, is this color not in there?
That shirt is custom to you.
Ooh. One of a kind.
I tested out that
Best of
material.
the best.
I actually did.
They
I
used
did
to be
order
the same
those.
color, but he sweated all the green out of his.
That's why it's so light and faded. We've got Rode microphones each and every week. We use the Rode microphones. We love them. We use them. They sound amazing.
Yes.
We sound amazing. Lexar Hub, we use the hub. We also use Lexar memory cards in these cameras each and every week. We use the micro SD, SD, compact flash, XQD, and CFast. And sometimes a jump drive.
Yeah.
And then next is the HOYA. Then we got, go to FroKnowsPhoto.com/guides. If you want to check out all the guides that are offered, there's currently 4 of them up on the website. You can go ahead and purchase them and help feed Morgan.
Thank you.
We've got squarespace.com/fro to get your 14-day free trial. Use the code FRO at checkout to get 14... no. Use FRO at checkout to get 10% off your first orders. Videoblocks.com/go/fro. Fro bag at store.froknowsphoto.com. Rode microphone. Get your Rode microphone. We love it. Rycoat Liar. Better suspension. Better pizza.
You're a
Papa
liar.
John's. Kessler Crane. Go to kesslercrane.com/fro. If you want to purchase anything there, we highly recommend, if you do a lot of video, check out their sliders, check out their cranes. Use the code FRO10 at checkout to get 10% off. Spin again. It's funny. The wheel is almost in the same place as it was.
Oh, it's so weird. It's the exact same spot.
It's so weird.
No, last week it landed on Think Tank,
Tank.
so it was one off.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, it
2
was on
weeks.
Think
I think
Tank.
I meant last week.
Well, last week
which
it
is
landed on that one.
today.
So we've got me. You win me on a big box and a Canon printer. AnoramaPix.com. And then the video guide. Todd already blew his load all over the table. Thus
that
why
was this morning. That was
the
this
money
morning.
is there.
Oh, the money. Yeah.
Think Tank Photo. You saw them for Gear of the Week. Spinning the wheel. Jared's going to spin the wheel.
Let's
spin
do
the wheel.
this.
Can we get some music for that, Todd?
Maybe.
We're going to go the other way.
Oh. Look at that little nugget. Little mushroom top.
I can't get away from it. Very nice. Around and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. The Wheel of Fro is going to stop on an amazing prize.
The same thing.
Congratulations, Boris. Boris Urumabov. He's been a long-time listener. He's been a very loyal fan. Congratulations goes to Boris. Very nice. Very nice.
Natasha.
Who's Natasha?
Boris and
From
Natasha.
James Bond.
Oh.
007.
I have that pinball machine.
Bullwinkle?
No, I have the 007 pinball machine. We'll bring it down. When the floors are done, the pinball machine's coming down.
I like pinball.
From my dad's house.
I thought you bought it for your dad.
I did. He said we can bring it down here because he doesn't really play it.
I don't really need it. I'm too busy at BJ's.
Buying nuts.
Buying bulk nuts and apples.
Screw you, Todd. How did money get all the way over to my dishwasher?
I don't know.
We sold an extra guide while we were recording.
So we have reached the end of 204.
Yes.
Thank you to Gary Fong for being on our show.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for enlightening us with some business acumen as well as the story behind the Gary Fong Dome.
Pretty incredible everything he's done.
It really didn't happen from a Tupperware container.
A milk, yeah.
It didn't
Jug or
happen that
something.
way.
Yep.
It was from a lampshade, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So, Todd, anything you want to add, plug at the end of the show?
Anything I want to plug?
Yeah.
Buy the guides.
Dan, did you any hashtags this week? I guess there are.
Oh, there's plenty.
Hashtags need money, sell drugs. Hashtag need money, sell drugs.
You can't hashtag
That's
that.
funny.
Sure you can.
Hashtag on drugs, you can do anything.
That's true. That is true, kids.
Very true.
That's very true.
Hashtag random plug. Hashtag no.
Give Anchorman anything, he'll read it.
Anything we write, you'll say.
Hashtag hello, Natasha. And that's the end of the show. Thank you for watching RAWtalk episode 204. For all the photo news stories and more, go to There Are No Photo News Stories or More this week.
We're like delirious.
So thank you guys for watching. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.
Really dope.
Crowns.